Yeah, sure. Thanks. Let me start by just saying a few words about our firms and how we are tied to the common domain models, how we got there. So we are on a very simple mission. We started about 5 years ago, saying we want to transform the relationship between financial firms and their regulators, and in particular with a focus on regulatory reporting. So really what we want to do is we want to digitize the global framework for reporting and collecting regulatory data. And straight from the start, we knew that we needed to leverage the open source. So what that means in practice is to help the industry on that journey, we identified that we needed to develop common models that were representative of the industry processes, on top of which regulatory reporting can be bolted on. And right at the time when we started that journey, ISDA made a public statement saying they wanted to develop a common domain model for the derivatives industry. So that was like the first use case, and we started to work as ISDA's partner to develop the common domain model since. So it's been 3 years now. We started in early 2018. So what's really important to understand, which has been alluded to just earlier, is the common domain model is that digital blueprint. It's a trade processing model for how for the entire transaction life cycle. It started with derivatives. That was the first use case. It's now being expanded into other territories of capital markets, bonds, repos, securities lending. So derivatives was really the first use case. But what's important is that it's not a regulatory model. That's the first thing. And the second thing is that it's often referred to as a common data model. It's when it's really a common domain model. And that's really an important distinction, because the world is replete with data standards, messaging formats. And that's actually not what the CDM is. So it's really taking stock of the fact that there exist all those multiple messaging formats and data standards. And it's really trying to put a layer on top, a logical layer that says, this is how all those data are related to each other. This is how they are defined. And this is the logic that you can put on top of the data to infer potentially other data. So regulatory reporting is really a case in point, because you're really taking data at the source, which is how firms would book transactions, right, through the life cycle. And then you're trying to project that into a view and a certain messaging format as required by such and such regulator. And the common domain model allows you to do that. It effectively allows you to have the logic on top of the data that allows you to do the entire process. So it's really trying to go beyond messaging formats and data standards, and really to have a logical model that is able to tie everything together.